In the previous screencast, we made the student class that groups a bunch of variables together. And in the main program, we had the main program make use of the grouping and use the dot operator to turn around and set various portions of the grouping. This is the sort of basic way to do it, but we're going to look at a slightly more sophisticated way that offers more options and is the normal way that you would generally use or build a class. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to mark each one of these fields on the form as private. And in this case, that says that the variable that owns the form is the only one that's allowed to change it. As soon as you save that, then all of a sudden you discover that in the main program no longer has access to the first name, last name, or age fields that are on the student form. What we're going to have to do is ask the student variable via a method to make the changes to the form or to the variables that are on the form instead. So let's go in and develop a pattern here, and we'll see what the pattern is first. We'll say public void clear that this one's the first name that's being changed. Okay. So notice that for each one of the variables, we wrote a routine or a method that was called set, and then had the word first name for the variable. It takes as an argument the thing that needs to be, or a copy of the thing that needs to be changed, and the function is going to copy whatever is given to it onto the appropriate place on the form. Now if you go look at the main program can access the variables directly, but instead of using the variable, we'll use the function instead, now called set first name, now called set last name, and now called set age. There we are. So now let's think about what happens here. We still made the form, but now you have to talk to the variable that owns the form. You have to ask them to do something via a method, and you give them a piece of information that they're going to use to make a change. When they get that piece of information, it comes in as a variable. This would contain something like Fred, and we would copy the word Fred from the information that was provided onto the first name variable that's at the top of the form. You can check to see if that works by running with the debugger. You can do a step over. There's the someone variable that's been created. You can crack open the someone variable to see that it contains 3 values. And you can do a step over to see if it gets set, and there's Fred changing. If you want to see what set last name is actually doing, you can do a step into, set age, we'll step into it, and you can see that what's happened is that set age has been called from the main program. Set age is given an inAge variable that contains a value 35. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to put the value 35 into the age variable in the form, which is currently 0. If you want to see the values that are on the form, when you're inside of one of these, something like a student class that doesn't have a main, you have to crack open the this variable to see the values. So you can see that first name and last name have already been set, and now that age variable of 35 is going to be copied onto the correct place on the form. So one more step over and it's copied, and another step over and we return back to main.